Marshall, and I'm going to explain CSS331. CSS331. Now, this is method of social research. Method of social research. Actually, this course is all about how to carry out research. How to carry out research. So it's a guide on how to carry out research. The first key topic you need to know for exam is how to define social research. How to define social research. Now, social research is actually, social research is a kind of research that investigates human behavior in the society. It's actually a kind of research that investigates human behavior in the society. An example of human behavior in society is crime. When people commit crime, it actually is a human behavior. It's actually a social, it's a social problem that we need to investigate. So the method we use to investigate, such a problem, we call it social research. Social research, is a focus on investigating human behavior. Human behavior can be, why do people commit crime, for example? Why do people behave this way? Why do people behave that way? Why do people, how and why do people, do a particular thing? So social research investigates human behavior. Is a type of research that investigates human behavior. So for us to investigate human behavior, we have to use social research. We have to use social research, and social research is made up of steps. It's made of steps. Those steps that we follow, to investigate human behavior, like the cause of crime in our society, for example. We have to follow it step by step in order to, properly investigate and find out why people commit crime, in the society, for example. So those steps that we follow is called, scientific. It's actually called scientific method. It's called scientific method. Those methods are mainly 5. We call it scientific method because it's made up of 5. It's made up of steps. There are up to 6 steps, but the main ones are 5 steps. The main ones are 5 steps. So this scientific method, we call it a method of social research. Method of social research is actually step-by-step approach on how to investigate human behavior, like crime, for example, in the society. For example, we want to investigate the cause of crime. What is responsible for the high rate of crime or high rate of banditry as a kind of crime in Nigeria? We have to use the scientific method. The scientific method is made up of 5 steps. That is what social research, used to investigate human behavior. And human behavior, for example, is crime such as banditry in Nigeria or kidnapping. How do we go about investigating, banditry in Nigeria as a social problem? That is what social research, investigates. That's what social research is all about. The step-by-step, methods that will follow to investigate the cause of crime as a human behavior, for example, in our society, those steps are called scientific method, and those are the methods that we use, in social research. So the next thing you need to know are the steps, those steps that will follow the social research, method, or the scientific method that will follow, to carry out, or to investigate human behavior. So those steps are what you need to know next, after knowing the definition of what the meaning of what social research is all about. Social research investigates human behavior in society, behavior such as crime. Why do people commit crime? So since we've known that the meaning of social research is that social research investigates human behavior. Social research investigates human behavior, and it follows step by step, scientific method in order to investigate human behavior, in order to research about human behavior, and to find out the cause of human behaviors like crime, for example. Since we've known the meaning of that is the meaning of social research, the next thing you need to know is the method. What are the steps that will follow to investigate human behavior like crime, for example? So those steps are called scientific method, or the method of social research. The methods are broken, they are divided, or they are broken down into steps, 5 main steps. Step 1, for example, you want to investigate the cause of crime in Nigeria, let's say kidnapping, for example. Now we are experiencing high rate of kidnapping, especially in the north. That's the first step. If you want to investigate the cause of kidnapping, for example, you have to follow, the method of social research. And the method of social research is made up of 5 main steps. It's total of 6 or even 7, but the 5 main ones are the ones you need to know. So you want to investigate, the cause of kidnapping in Nigeria, for example. The step you need to use is called the scientific method, and it's made up of steps. So step one, you have to begin by asking questions. That is the first step in the method of social research. The first step to investigate human behavior like kidnapping in Nigeria. We want to discover the cause. How do we go about, finding out? How do we go about investigating that human behavior? The first thing you need to do is to ask a question. For example, what is the cause of kidnapping in Nigeria as a human behavior, as a social problem? What is the cause of crime in Nigeria? What is the cause of kidnapping as a kind of crime in Nigeria? That is the first step. So we can say that this first step the method of social research, or the scientific method, begins with a question. It begins with a question or curiosity. If you check the notes that I gave to you, you will see that is exactly what I wrote there. I said that the method of social research is divided into steps. Step 1 is the scientific method. Step 1 is that the scientific method, or this method of social research, begins with a question. The first step is a question. For example, step 1, an example of a social research question might be the following: what is the cause of crime, or what is the cause of kidnapping in Nigeria? You have asked a question. You have asked a research question. Now you have to move to the next step. What is the next step? The next step is to guess. The next step is to guess. You have to guess. You have to think about the cause of the problem. You have to guess the answer to that question that you have asked. You have actually asked a question that has to do with a social problem. What is the cause of kidnapping, or what is the cause of crime in Nigeria? The next step, the next thing to do is to guess the answer. Guess the answer. You can guess that, okay, I think that the cause of kidnapping as a crime, as a form of crime in Nigeria, is due to unemployment. Is due to unemployment, is due to bad government. Depending on what you believe is the cause of crime, and based on what you have read in newspaper, or what you have watched in films, you can just base your answer or your guessing on that particular analysis. So this step 2 is all about guessing, and the right word for this guessing in the exam, we'll call it hypothesis. So hypothesis is an educated guess regarding what the researcher expects to find, or regarding answer, the question to the answer. What this hypothesis is all about is actually a guess. It's something you think through. It's not something you just guess like that. You can guess that the cause of kidnapping in Nigeria is due to high rate of unemployment, because you've read in the newspaper, you read in the newspaper yesterday that that there is high rate of unemployment in Nigeria, and the guy that police caught a guy that was involved in kidnapping, and he confessed that it's because he lost his job. That's why he went into kidnapping. So that is why your guesswork is actually it's actually an educated guess. You read somewhere about the cause of crime in Nigeria. That is why you decided to base your answer or your guess or your hypothesis on your findings, on what you read there. That is why, if you check the notes, I wrote there that a guess or a hypothesis is an educated guess. Yes, you've educated yourself by reading newspapers, so you're not just guessing anyhow. You're basing your guess on what you've read as an educated person. So the second step in the method of social research is guessing. And this guessing, you don't write guessing in exam. I'm using guess for you to understand. Step 2 is where you guess, but the right word for it is hypothesis. Formulation of hypothesis is where you form your hypothesis, and hypothesis is educated guess. Hypothesis is an educated guess. If you check the note, you will see that I defined that hypothesis. It's important for you to define every step of the method of social research. Step 1, I've defined it for you. I said that step 1 is a scientific, the first step begins with a question or curiosity, and the question is actually a research question. Step 2 is the formulation of hypothesis. And hypothesis, you have to define hypothesis. Hypothesis is an educated guess regarding what the social researcher or researchers expect to find. Usually, social science researchers base their hypothesis on previous research in the field. You can see that your previous research can be that you read a newspaper about crimes. So you read it there that somebody, confessed that the reason why he went into kidnapping is because he lost his job. So that newspaper you read is actually previous research. So that is why the second step is guess, is hypothesis. In my example of what the cause of crime is in Nigeria, for example, researchers, you as a social researcher, you might hypothesize. You might hypothesize that unemployment is the main cause of crime in Nigeria because previous research determined this. So you can see that step 2 in the method of social research is hypothesis, is where you guess. Step 1 is where you ask question. What do you want to research about? What do you want to research? What is the social problem? Social problem is a cause of crime in Nigeria, like kidnapping. You have asked that question. The next thing for you to do is to guess the answer to that question. Hypothesis. That is step 2. That is guessing. Then step 3, you have to test your guess. You have to test your answer. You have to find out whether you are really correct. What you've guessed as the answer to unemployment, are you right? Is it correct? You have to conduct experiments. You have to conduct tests. You have to carry out tests, to discover if you are correct. If unemployment is really the cause of crime, of kidnapping, in Nigeria. You don't just guess like that. Once you've guessed in an educated manner, you have to carry out tests. It can be experiment, it can be survey, it can be questionnaire, it can be like going in the streets to interview Nigerians. You can interview like 100 Nigerians, you know. Then when you come home, you count how many Nigerians agreed with you that unemployment is the cause of kidnapping as a crime, as a form of crime in Nigeria. If you calculated that actually 70 people out of the 100 people you interviewed on the streets agreed that unemployment is the cause of kidnapping in Nigeria,